Hi, I'm Hayden, the psychologist, and you're watching my series on lockdown mental health. Today, I'm going to speak about a very specific anxiety around worries of our jobs, our businesses. What will happen after the lockdown? Will there be safety there? That type of anxiety. Now, at this stage, many people are sitting with really that very often that feeling of racing heart, shortness of breath, really worried and scared, that deep uncertainty, that fear of what will be there when I return. Will there be safety? Quite a lot of unknown. Now, there's two clinical mechanisms here that are at play that I want to touch on in describing this kind of anxiety, and perhaps some tips to see if we can maybe shift it a little bit. The first, on the one hand, really works a lot like this. Whenever we navigate through our daily lives, we receive feedback or information from our environment. We greet our co-workers, we get on the phone with clients, we see people face to face, everything that happens in the business context. Actually, this also applies to other contexts, but we are always getting information. In the lockdown situation, our ability to get information has shifted and classically become more limited. Even if we are speaking to people in line with our jobs every day, very often we're speaking less, or we don't have the information from office movements, watching people walk around, or whatever the case is, whatever environment we work in. There's a lot of subtle communications that we constantly pick up. Even shooting the breeze with a coworker gives us feedback as to where we stand within our environment. All of that information actually creates a reassurance in our mind. It creates that certainty because we are constantly getting full, rich feedback on where we are, our placement, and predictable outcomes. Now, with the lockdown, that small limitation or large limitation really limits that type of feedback coming in. So that creates huge uncertainty. We there have a gap. Our mind tries to find another way to predict what will come. And that creates anxiety to try and mobilize us to find a way. That is what the mechanism is happening in your mind. So my tip there is, where possible, make that extra phone call to a coworker, to people that you work with, to prospective bosses, or whatever, anyone that is engaged in the work context. Speak more to them. Chat a little bit about the job. There you can start getting just that feedback loop. You get more and more information, really allows the mind more data, if I can put it like that, to create that settled feeling. The second mechanism has got to do with control. Classically, as we navigate through our lives, we start to develop a predictable understanding of our world, and that gives us a measure of control. Now, with the lockdown, that is a massive shift. There is a lot of unknown that we are unaware of. Two elements there to consider. The one is getting as much information as we can, gives a clearer picture, and that allows more control to come into play already. So finding out what is likely to come, asking around, asking for that reassurance if it is that we are worried. So that specific type of information creates a bit more control. The second element about control is preparing. I'm aware that we don't necessarily have a clear picture of what we will return to, what's to come, but whatever we can get clarity on, if there is something that one can do to prepare, to assist there, obviously we will be limited in what we can do, but doing what we can do now can gain back a measure of control. All of this is very case specific. I'm aware of that. Ideally, this would be case by case facilitation in a therapeutic process. But hopefully this general picture, if you try and apply it to your situation, maybe there you can draw one or two tips and see if you can do it in a way that gives you a little bit of a control, gives you a bit more feedback from those people that are connected to your work. And in that way, you might just shift that anxiety, at least assist it, this specific type of anxiety. I hope that video has helped today.